Okay, I mean, you've seen the title. I've got it freshly printed. I've had my morning cup of coffee. So let's just get straight into this, eh? Why don't we? So, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about how the UK's demographics are changing. As you can see, that is the title. So, that's good. Right, so we're just going to straight into it. You know how this works by now. There's a crow. Anyways, gonna read it and I'll give my opinion and a bit of my thoughts at the end. How the UK, fucking hell, I can't even speak, it's too early. How the UK's demographics are changing. Sit up now. The UK's population has changed a lot over the last 2 decades, and this is clearly shown in the decadal censuses since 2001. This page of information will uncover the truth behind the statistics. The white British population in 2001, when the white British option was added to the censuses, equivalated to 88.5% of the population. Just a decade later, it had shrunk to 80.5%, so an 8% decrease in 10 years. 10 years later in 2021, the most recent census, it had decreased even further to 14.4%. During this 20-year period, one of the largest growing ethnic groups was Asian British. This includes people of South Asian descendants from places such as Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. In 2024, it was reported that the white British birth rate was only 54%. It is completely unacceptable that in Britain, the indigenous population barely make up over half of the birth rate. Got an itchy eyeball, you have to hold on. Right, being British, to many, simply means holding a British passport, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Being British means having the ancestral DNA to link you back to these lands. Being born here doesn't mean that you possess this DNA. Finally, another big factor in the changing demographic is the uncontrolled immigration from the boats that carry hundreds of migrants across the Channel every week. As of early May 2026, a surplus of 6,400 migrants has arrived. And now the last bit's going to be some quotes from political parties, which I quite like. I've only got 2 political parties on here. Patriotic Alternative, led by Mark Collett, and the Homeland Party, which obviously splintered out of Patriotic Alternative, but led by Kenny Smith. So we'll do Patriotic Alternative first, and then we'll do the Homeland Party. The white British will be a minority, less than 50% of the population, in the United Kingdom by the year 2066. That's only if, though, right, and I hope this don't happen, but this is only if the birth rate and the immigration rate and all this like current trends going on with birth rates and immigration stuff stay the same. If they don't decrease and we don't increase our birth rate, then that will happen by 2066. And if it gets really worse, I mean, it could be even sooner. And then the Homeland Party quote is, "We assert that the indigenous people have an inseparable bond with their homeland." Yeah, it's simple as. People who are ethnically British and have the ancestral DNA will have a connection with the nation they are from. It's the same as people from India have a connection with their ancestral homeland of India. Same as people from Nigeria have an ancestor. You know what I mean? It's just being proud of where your genetics and your ancestors come from and your heritage. So that's the full thing. As you can see, I told you it weren't very long. But time for my opinion, which is, my favourite bit. I think the white British population, the indigenous population, the native, whatever you want to call them, should be a super majority. I think I would be quite happy if we were 95% of the population. I'd be very happy with that, actually. I'd be bloody ecstatic. I mean, in 1951, the approximate, because we don't have that census because of the war and just all sorts of stuff like that, the approximate guess white British population was 99.9%. So that was 3 years after the first EMT Empire Windrush boat had arrived in Britain. So 3 years after we had started getting people immigrating to Britain, we were still a super majority white British. We'll talk about parties actually now. That's something we'll do. Because why not? Patriotic Alternative, led by Mark Collett, has been in the ethno-nationalist politics for 20 plus years. He was in the BNP in the early 2000s. Was the candidate for Hare Hills, and I think he also a bit later on became the candidate for the whole of Leeds in general. He's quite good with his speeches. He can get his point across, and he's concise, and he don't ramble on. He's a good speaker. He just gets straight to the point and says it how it is. Which, I mean, you need to. That's a good leader quality, because somebody who dilly-dallies about and doesn't say what they mean, can you really trust them to try and implement things that are going to benefit the country if they're too scared to say the God's honest truth? The Homeland Party, I quite like them purely because Nationalist Party, which is always good, but they're not very religious, which I quite like, because I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in a God. I think it's just I don't see how it can be real. I've been through a lot of phases when it comes to religion. I've been a Norse pagan. I've been a Catholic. I've been Church of England. I was very little in primary school because we visited a mosque. I wanted to be Muslim for a week, but it's okay because now I understand the horrible filth that is Islam. But yes, I've been through quite a few religious phases. I can tell you now, bollocks. But I would rather live in a Christian country than a Muslim country. Out of the 50 countries that have Sharia law as their country's main law, I would rather shit in my hands and clap than live in any of them. But the Homeland Party, like how it's not a very religious party, they don't try to use religion to moralise their beliefs. They're happy with their beliefs, and they're like, we don't need to be religious to have these beliefs and want England and we don't to want Britain to be how it has been for centuries now. So yeah, I quite like them. But yeah, that's the speech. I'll upload the file in the Discord so people can print out, have a read for themselves. But just pretty much all the usual, really. I'll have the TikTok, follow the TikTok. I'll put the links below. I'll put the link to the Discord, the Twitter, TikTok. Do I put the I might put the Telegram and all. But yeah, I encourage people really to look into the statistics for themselves, because they are quite concerning when you really think about it. Like 2001 to 2011, an 8% decrease. Now that doesn't sound like a lot at face value. Oh yeah, 8%. But the white British population has shrunk by over 1 million people. So I'd like to see you count to 1 million. I'd love to see how long that'd take you to count to 1 million, because you know what I mean. It doesn't sound like a lot when you go, oh yeah, 8%. Oh, take it straight like that. But when you really think about the amount of people that is who've been replaced, is a big difference. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say. So I hope everybody enjoys Bank Holiday Monday. I'm going to go for a walk. Get on with nature for a bit because it's still early morning when I'm recording this. It is 10 minutes past 8. So nice fresh air. Not many cars have been out yet, so the air's still quite nice. I think I'm going to go for a walk in that little bit of the countryside, go off on a little nature trail. But yeah, hope everybody has a great day, and yeah, just check out the links in the description. Just have a look if you want to be united with like-minded people. That's about it. Alright, sweet.